Well, hello, and welcome to Chair Yoga. What you're going to need for this class is just a chair with no arms. You may require something like this to get into certain postures. And so make sure that you've got an ottoman or a kitchen stool or even another chair close by just in case you need to do a modification when we get into the class. Make sure you've got some water nearby as well. And I invite you to take water whenever you feel you need it. And so let's get it started. I'll see you over there. Whether you choose to have bare feet, socks on your feet, or shoes on your feet is entirely up to you. I choose to go bare feet today. All right, we're going to start our yoga practice today by just sitting quietly. We want to sit with a tall spine, with our feet flat on the floor. Bring your elbows below your shoulders. Just rest your hands on your lap, either palms down or palms up. It really doesn't matter. Whatever you're comfortable with. We're going to use very simple postures today, modifying them to be able to use a chair. Instead of holding up our body weight, we're going to use the chair to hold up our body weight and to help with our balance. So sitting tall, like there's a string on the top of your head and it's reaching toward the sky. So sitting with an open back and an open chest, feet on the floor, and just breathe. Take a minute or two here to just breathe deeply all the way in to the bottom of your lungs. Pause your breath a little bit before breathing it all the way back out. We want to get the oxygen flowing throughout the body and to the brain before we go into our postures. I will be showing modification. So if you're having difficulty at any time with any posture, use the modification. And I start with the modifications, and then the second and third time that we repeat the posture is when I make it more, I'm not going to say difficult, but we go deeper into a posture. So you use what's best for you. Nothing should hurt. Nothing should hurt. Never force your body to go somewhere where it's not willing to go without feeling pain. You're going to feel tension, maybe a little bit of discomfort as you release muscle tension, but you should never, ever feel pain. So sitting tall and breathing, letting your shoulders come down away from your ears. So begin by pressing, roll them up, back, and press them down toward the floor. That almost brings your elbows in line with your shoulders. You want your elbows below your shoulders. And sitting tall and just breathing here. Just breathing here. Centering, grounding, allowing everything else, all of the other thoughts to fall away so we can focus on our practice and our postures. A few more deep breaths here. Breathing all the way in to the bottom of your lungs before breathing all the way back out, a full, complete exhalation. Breathe. Beginning with our sun salutations. I'm going to modify my arms to begin with by coming up through the center of my body to allow for cranky shoulders or small range of motion through the shoulders. So you use which version of the sun salutation you choose to use. But we're going to start with a full modification here. Reach up as far as you can. If that's as far as you can reach, that's fine. Don't force it. Reaching up with a tall spine. We're going to bring our hands together and we're going to bring them down to our heart chakra. Physically connect your thumbs to your chest You're going to take a deep breath in, and with that breath, you're going to breathe in healing, positive energy and light. And as we exhale, we're going to exhale negative thoughts, negative feelings, anything that doesn't serve or heal the body. And we're going to shake it away, shake it down to the floor, let it go, let it go. Coming up to the center of the body to allow for decreased shoulder mobility. Breathe, reach up as far as you can without feeling pain. Stay up tall. Bring the palms of the hands together and come down to the heart chakra, physically connecting to your heart chakra. Breathing in the positivity, positive healing light and energy. And breathing out all of the negativity, negative thoughts, negative feelings, and we're going to shake them away. Physically shake them away from the body. Breathe. We're going to come up to the outside of the body this time. Come up to the inside if you need to. Just increasing range of motion through the shoulders here. Breathe. Sitting tall without leaning forward or back. Grasp that positive energy and you're going to bring it down to your heart chakra, physically connecting your thumbs to your chest and breathing in all of that positive energy, healing light and energy. Breathe it all the way into the bottom of your lungs. And we're going to breathe out negative thoughts, negative feelings, and we're going to shake it away. Let it fall away from your body. Even though it's symbolic, symbolism can be very, very powerful. Shake it away. You don't need it. Shake it away. And one more time. Coming up to the outside or the inside of the body, whatever your shoulders choose. Breathe. We're going to hold a little longer here this time. Breathe, reaching up. And bring the palms together and come down. And physically connecting to that heart chakra. And breathing in all of that positive healing energy and light. Allowing it to circulate through the whole body. And then breathing out anything that does not serve or heal your body or your mind. Let it go. Shake it away. Shake it away. And bringing your hands back to center. Breathe. Sitting tall and breathing. A few cleansing breaths here. Breathe, centering, grounding, and breathing. Becoming very, very mindful of your movement, how everything feels, being in this moment. Whatever you need to do after now, it'll still be there. So allow yourself this time to center, ground, and allow the muscles to release and heal. Coming into our first posture. The first time we do this, we're going to do it 3 times on each side. The first time we do this, I'm going to keep my feet facing forward. The second time, I'm going to widen my feet and put them into a wide V. And the third time, I'm going to come out completely to release the insides of the legs as I'm releasing the side of my body. So sitting tall, you don't want to be leaning back in your chair. You want your core, your abdominals, your obliques, and your back to be engaged at all time, to hold you upright, because yoga is about correcting poor posture as well as allowing the muscles to stretch, regenerate, and recuperate. So we are going to put our hand on our head. We're going to lift our armpit away from our hip bone. So we're not really leaning over, we're just opening through the side of the body. And this is as far as we're going to go this time. Breathe into the space that you've just created. in the side of your body. Mindful breathing, mindful deep breathing. And coming back to a tall spine and coming back to center, and take a breath here. Slow, deep breath, never forcing your breath. Slow, deep, natural breath. Coming to the other side, bringing this hand to the top of our head, lifting the armpit away from the hip bone, opening through this side of the body and breathing in to that open space. Breathe. Conscious breathing, mindful breathing, conscious movement. And coming back to center and taking a breath or two here. Breathe. Breathe. Just breathe. It doesn't matter how you breathe, just breathe. This time, I'm going to open my feet. You can leave your feet closed if you choose, and I'm going to turn them out on a little bit of an angle. So I want to start releasing through the insides of my legs as I release through the sides of my body. I'm going to bring the hand to the top of the head, and I'm going to lift as we did the first time, but this time I'm going to extend. You don't have to. If it causes you pain, please don't do this. Baby finger forward, thumb behind, and do a little visual check just to make sure that your brain is connected to your body and that your body is doing what your brain thinks it's doing. That is not always the case. Breathe. And bringing the hand back to the top of the head, coming back to center. And I'm going to turn my toes forward. Breathe. Take a breath or two here. Breathe. I'm going to widen my feet a little bit more and turn my toes out a little bit more. Sitting with that tall spine, bringing the hand to the top of my head, opening through the side of my body by taking my armpit away from my hip bone, and then extending through the arm to extend that rib opener, extending that stretch through the side of the body. Breathe, doing that little visual check. You also want to make sure that your wrist is straight and it's not curved over the top of your head. Reach through those fingers. And coming back to the top of the head, coming back to center, I release my arm and I release my toes. So I relieve the pressure on the insides of my legs. And remember, discomfort and tension is what you should be feeling through your muscles as you are going in and out of postures, but you should never feel pain. You never want to take it to the point of pain. And I'm going to turn my feet out a little bit more. So I feel a release in the insides of my legs a little bit more. I'm going to bring this hand all the way up, all the way in to full posture this time. Breathe. You use whatever modification. If you need to leave your hand on your head, please do. Please do. Use modifications when you need to. Sometimes you need to, sometimes you don't. Always pay attention to how your body feels and what it is asking for in this moment. Little visual check. And coming down, I'm going to turn my toes forward. Breathe. My elbows are below my shoulders and I'm sitting with a tall spine. top of my head reaching toward the ceiling, not leaning forward nor back. And let's do our final one. So my toes are turned out as far as they will go. And I'm going to come up. Lift the armpit away from that hip bone and open to the side of the body one final time. Breathe. And coming back down, bringing my toes forward, and I'm going to wiggle walk my feet back into alignment with my knees and my hips. And I'm going to ground, center, and breathe. Cleansing breath here, recovery breath, whatever you want to call it. Just ground, center, and breathe. Shoulders coming down with each breath out. Our shoulders creep up here over the course of a day when they belong down here. Breathe. Moving into our next series of postures, cat and cow. When we are in cat, our spine is rounded toward the back of our chair. Our chin is tucked toward our chest, and we're going to pretend there's something round on our lap, and we're going to hug around it. So we're making a round motion with the arms. The fingers are reaching toward each other, but they're never able to touch. But you're going to keep reaching around that round item to try to keep touching the fingers together. Shift to the front of your chair and bring your feet forward with you. You should be able to see your toes out the ends of your knees. Sitting tall, we're going to start that reach around as we pull our tummy in, round our spine toward the back of our chair, and you already feel the stretch. Moving down from the upper back down into the tailbone. And as you reach around that round barrel or tree, you can feel the release through the upper back. The shoulder blades slide away from each other. You're feeling a release through the back of your shoulders, the back of your arms, all the way down into your fingertips. Breathe. Breathe. And we're going to roll forward, and we're going to move into cow. Pushing your chest forward and reaching behind you with your hands and your arms. You can have your palms forward, you can have your palms behind you, or you can have your thumbs forward, baby fingers behind you, whatever works for you. You want to open up through the chest, the fronts of the shoulders, through your collarbones, and through the breastbone. You also are opening up through the abdominal space, giving your internal organs room to function. Breathe. And again, we spend so much of our day hunched forward, crushing everything in the front of the body. Everything important pretty much lives in the front of the body. And when it's crushed, your digestive system cannot work properly and things like that. So giving it space to do its job several times a day is a good thing to do. Let's move back into cat, rounding the spine toward the back of the chair. Breathe. Visualize all of your vertebrae opening to decompress the discs between the vertebrae. Again, even if that's not really what is happening, visualization is very powerful. Breathe. Let those shoulder blades slide away from each other. Reach around that big barrel. Keep trying to reach touch your fingers together, but they can't quite reach. And moving forward, pushing the chest forward, going into cow for the second time, reaching behind, really opening up to the front of the body. Shoulders are down. Breathe. This is what your shoulders want to do as you reach behind. Make sure that you press them down. I'm going to go palms forward this time. Breathe. So I'm stretching the fronts of my shoulders, collarbone, breastbone, abdominal space, and I'm also releasing through the insides of my arms. So it's the opposite of cat, where we release to the outsides of the arms. And one more time, moving into cat. Reach, reach, reach. Make that spine round and open the vertebrae toward the back of the chair. Breathe. And moving forward, I'm going to hang on to the back of my chair this time. If that is too intense for you to do, please don't. It's just extending my posture. I'm using the chair to help open my chest a little bit more. Release through the front of my shoulders, the insides of my arms, and opening my abdominal space just a little bit more. Breathe. And release. And release. And come back to center. Bring the elbows below your shoulders, grounding down through the feet. And just allowing your hands to rest into your lap. Cleansing breath here, whatever you'd like to call it. Just breathe. Breathe. Moving into our next set of postures, I call them mermaid and triangle. During mermaid, we open up completely through one side of the body. And then when we go into triangle on that side of the body, we release through the inside of the leg. And we continue to release through this side of the body. So come over to the side of your chair, and you're going to hang on to the side of your chair until you get your leg out to the side to help counterbalance being off of your chair. If you want to, you can landmark here. I put my arm out to the side, and that's where my leg comes out, under my armpit. My foot is flat and it's pointing forward. If that's too intense, bring your foot forward on the diagonal, so you're on a 45-degree angle instead of a 90. Okay? So remember, monitor how you're feeling. Be in this moment and pay attention to how every little thing feels. Tension, yes. Discomfort, yes. Pain, absolutely not. All right, so we're going to sit tall, releasing to the inside of the leg. Foot is flat, toe is forward. We're going to put our hand on our head just like we did with our very first posture. We're going to bring the hand in close beside the leg, and we're going to lean it over, and then we're going to extend. So we're releasing all the way through the side of the body. You're a big, long chain of muscle, bone, connective tissues. So to do a chain stretch like this through the whole side of the body is a good thing to do. Breathe. Bring your hand back to the top of your head. Come to tall and take a breath. This hand goes to the outside of the extended leg. Breathe. Triangle is a little bit more difficult than the mermaid. You're going to feel a big stretch on the inside of this leg as you lift through this side of the body. Don't let it go to pain. You're going to slide your fingers down the outside of your leg. Don't pay attention to how far it goes, okay? Because when you do pay attention to how far it goes, sometimes you push it a little bit too far. So just pay attention to how the inside of your leg feels. Bringing the hand to the top of the head. Slide your fingers down. Open up through this side of the body. Everything stays facing forward. And then extend. Leave your hand on top of your head if you need to. Breathe, doing that little visual check. Breathe. Breathe that tension out. Bring your hand to the top of your head. Come back to tall and take a breath here. Breathe. We're going to do that one more time. Breathe. Going back to our mermaid. Come to hand on head if you choose, or you can come up into full posture, releasing all the way through this side of the body. Breathe. And come back up to tall. This hand goes to the outside of this leg. Sit up tall, take a breath or two. And coming into triangle for the final time on this side. Put your hand on your head or come up into posture. Reach up as you slide down. Breathe. Flexibility is something that we lose over time, and we don't get it back right away. It takes hard work and practice. If you truly want to get your flexibility back, your range of motion, it takes time, patience, and practice. And coming back up to tall. Take a breath or two here. Hanging on to the side of your chair, slowly bend your knee, and as you do, you're going to, I call this a wiggle walk. Wiggle walk back to center. Recentering in your chair, regrounding and breathing before we go to the other side. Bring your elbows in line with your shoulders, sitting tall. Breathe. And moving to the other side of our chair, I'm just going to move the cube over there. Hang on to the side of your chair until you counterbalance by putting your leg out to the side. And once you're there, sit tall, breathe. Moving into our first mermaid on this side by bringing our hand to our head. Over we go. And then extend. Breathe. Breathe. I'm not a stickler for breathing. As long as you're breathing, it doesn't matter whether you're breathing in or out when you're raising your arm or whatever, as long as you're breathing. The breathing comes later. Just breathe. Bring your hand back to the top of your head. Come back to tall. This hand goes to the outside of this leg. You're going to find that your flexibility is not the same on both sides of the body. That is normal. That is normal. But be aware of that. And when you practice flexibility training, whether that be yoga or stretching or anything like that, be mindful of where your tight spots are and hold those postures or those stretches a little bit longer than on your more flexible side. Hand on head. This is my tight side. So here we go. Sliding it down and then extending. Breathe. Breathe. Doing that visual check. Breathe. Bring the hand back to the top of the head. Come back to a tall spine and take a breath or two here. A friend of mine once said about eyebrows that your eyebrows are not twins. They're sisters or brothers or siblings. Same things with the sides of the body. They're not twins, they're siblings. So one may be tighter than the other, one may be bigger than the other. So they're siblings, not twins. So keep that in mind when you are practicing your flexibility, strength training, whatever it might be. Coming to our second and final mermaid on this side, reaching it up and over and really extending. Opening up through the side of the body as much as you can. Make this side of the body as long as you can. Visualize it. Visualize it. Breathe. And coming back to that tall spine, take a breath here or two. Breathe. And coming into our final triangle on this side, hand on head, if that's the modification you choose to use, or coming up into posture. Breathe. Breathe. Breathe that tension out. And come back up to tall. Take a breath or two here before you bend the knee and start to wiggle walk and centering and grounding. Sitting up nice and tall. This would be the perfect time to take a drink of water if you have your water handy. Breathe. If you don't drink water during a class, please make sure that you hydrate and you hydrate well after a class. You're releasing lactic acid as you go in and out of postures. As you release, as you stretch those muscles, you're releasing lactic acid. You need to flush that out of the body. So sitting tall, breathe, breathe. The next posture we do is called cactus. and is it's a little bit more of a difficult posture, difficult in that it opens the front of the body. The muscles in here, the side of the chest attached to your armpit, get very, very tight, very, very tight. And it restricts range of motion through the shoulders. It also pulls our body forward. So we have this, and then we come head forward. So we have the Dowager's hump in the back of the neck. The upper back muscles are overused, overstretched, so they hurt. When we try to open up and sit up tall, these guys hurt. So we want to open the front of the body a little bit more than we did with our cow posture. So I'm going to turn my chair sideways. I apologize, I have allergies. I'm going to turn my chair sideways so you can see exactly what I'm talking about when we're moving in and out of cactus. So I'm sitting forward on my chair. You never want to be lounging back in your chair. You want to be halfway. I want to make sure that my behind is firmly on my chair, but I want lots of space here. I want my legs to be as free from my chair as possible. So I'm going to sit up tall. We don't want to lean back, and we certainly don't want to lean forward. So we want to sit with a tall neutral spine. And we're going to reach up in front of the body, and we're going to come down here. This is what I call neutral. The backs of my hands are quite a ways away from the front of my body. Looking straight forward, and I'm going to go head forward on purpose, and I'm going to close the front of my body just so you can see the difference in posture when I come into cactus for the first time. Reaching up. Coming into cactus, I'm opening the front of my body, and as I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together in my upper back, the backs of my hands are coming toward the front of my body. Look what just happened to my posture. It's almost impossible to be head forward like this. So sitting tall, don't force your hands toward the back of your body and focus on your shoulder blades. Squeeze your shoulder blades together in the upper back. Come up into neutral and come down. You can come all the way down into your lap if you choose, or you can stay here. We're going to do that 2 more times. So reaching up, coming down into cactus for the second time. I'm still not forcing anything. Opening through the front of my chest, squeezing my shoulder blades together. My elbows are pressing behind my body. They're pressing back, backs of my hands coming closer to the front of my body. Don't allow this to cause pain. I've been doing this for quite a while. If this is where you are, that's awesome. That is awesome. Celebrate your small victories. Coming up and down into neutral. One more time. Just allow those shoulder blades to open a little bit as we're here. And the final time, I'm reaching up and I'm coming down into cactus for the 3rd time. Squeezing my shoulder blades together, sitting tall but not leaning back, opening through the front of my body, the side of my chest that attaches to my armpit. Breathe. Breathe. And coming up and all the way down to your lap this time, bringing the elbows from here to here. So you want your elbows to be below your shoulders. And I'm going to turn my chair forward as you are recovering from cactus. If you have poor posture and you suffer from a lot of tension in your upper back, practice cactus several times a day, and you're going to release through here, and you're going to give those upper back muscles a break. You're also going to strengthen them as you contract them to open up through the front of the body. Okay, they are overextended and they've become weak. They've lost their muscle tone. So you want to increase the muscle tone as you correct your posture and release these guys right in here. All right, the next posture we're going to go to is mountain. So we're going to do modified mountain to begin with, and then we're going to do full mountain. So mountain releases the hip flexor and the quad. So we're going to turn sideways in our chair. You want this side of your behind off of the chair. You're going to hinge forward, and you're going to reach behind you as far as you can. If this is as far as you can reach, that's fine. Again, flexibility over time. Okay. Just going to adjust my chair. All right, so the first time we come up, we're not going to use arms at all. So slowly coming up to a tall spine. And as I come up, I'm going to start dropping my knee toward the floor. So I'm opening from my hip bone to the top of my leg and then releasing down through my quad in the front of my thigh. Breathe here. Breathe. We're going to hinge forward. We're going to add arms this time if you choose. And coming up to the tall spine, reaching through those fingers. If you have high blood pressure or your heart starts to race, you're going to drop your arms below your heart. Okay? Please be aware of that. If you're okay here, then stay here. Breathe. And hinge forward. Hang on to your chair. Bring your feet back to each other and then center and ground in your chair. Take a cleansing breath or two here before we go to the other side. And remember, if you have high blood pressure or your heart starts to race, if you don't have high blood pressure, bring your arms down below your heart. It's very important. All right, let's do the other side. You don't want to pass out in the middle of your yoga class. Reaching back. Coming up for the first time, just make sure that my mic pack is out of the way. And coming up, feeling it release through my hip. If this is where you feel the stretch start to happen, don't come up any further. If you come up further, it may cause pain. Pain is an indicator that your muscles are overdoing, like they're overstretching, and you risk a muscle tear, and you don't want that. Breathe. You want to elongate, strengthen, heal the muscles. You don't want to hurt them. Hinging forward, adding the arms this time, reaching or dropping the arms if you have high blood pressure or your heart starts to race. Breathe. Breathing is really important when your arms are above your head. And coming down. Hang on to your chair. Bring your feet back to each other. And center and ground. Bringing your elbows below your shoulders, sitting tall. Aligning your neck with the rest of your spine. Being aware of posture. And if you do have head forward, being conscious of bringing everything back in line. Breathe. The next posture we're going to do is called forward fold. So we're going to open our feet. This is going to release the lower back and the mid back. So I want my behind firmly on my chair, but I want enough room. I want my legs to be free of my chair. I'm going to drop my torso in between my knees. If you have high blood pressure, you're going to make sure that you take a big breath in when we are coming back up, okay? When your head is level with your heart, it's easy for the blood to get to your head because it's level with your heart. When you start coming back up, your heart has to work harder to get the oxygen and the blood back to your brain. So we're going to take a big breath in consciously as we come back up. So your hands are on your thighs and you're going to round your spine just like you did with our cat back. Tucking your chin to your chest. You're going to bring your forearms to your thighs, but above your kneecaps. You don't want to put any weight on your kneecaps. They move, and we don't want them to move to a place where they're not meant to go. Breathe. All right. Hands on your shins below your kneecaps, and if you have to take a quick look up to see what I'm doing, please do. I'm wiggling my torso in between my knees as I slide my hands down to my ankles, and I'm looking down at the floor. This is where I feel my mid and my lower back start to release. If this is where you need to stay hanging onto your ankles, please do, or you can release completely and let gravity pull your torso toward the floor. Breathe. I'm looking under my chair at this point. Breathe. Bring your hands back to around your ankles. Push your weight into the tops of your feet through your hands. We want to allow the muscles of the torso to continue to relax. So we're going to use our arms to take our torso back up. Bring your forearms to your thighs. Use your arms to push yourself back up as you take a big breath in. Here we go. And breathe and take another big breath in. And stay right here. Breathe, looking down at the floor, keeping the neck aligned with the spine. We're going to come to that round spine, rounding your spine toward the back of your chair. Elbows are below your shoulders. Taking a big breath in as you come to a tall spine. So we're all the way back up. Breathe. Take a cleansing breath or two here. Breathe. The next posture we're moving into is called pigeon, and this is very important for hip health. Our hips get very tight. It starts to affect the way we are able or unable to walk and move our legs. So this is where you may need another chair, a kitchen stool, something that's lower than what you're sitting on, or I'm going to use my storage cube. And I'm going to show modification on one side and then full posture on the other side. Okay. So sitting tall, you've got your chair or your footstool, whatever you've got going on. You're going to lean back. Bring that leg to cross over your other chair, your storage cube, your kitchen stool, whatever you've got in front of you. Come to a tall spine. You're already feeling things start to release through the hip here and the inside of the leg. I've got the arch of my foot into the inside of this knee. Breathe. I'm going to drop my hands down beside my hips because I want to keep my shoulders behind me. I want to lead with my chest. So I'm going to straighten my spine and I'm going to hinge from my lower back, pushing my chest toward my crossed over leg. Looking down as I do that. You want to keep the neck aligned with the spine. Breathe. Breathe. Keep your shoulders behind you, leading with your chest. Let your crossed over leg relax as much as possible. Keeping that spine straight, moving the chest toward the crossed over leg. Breathe. And coming back to a tall spine. I'm going to take it all the way back and release it. We'll do it one more time on this side and I will show full pigeon this time. All right. Leaning back into your chair. Bringing this leg up over top of the other one. You're above your ankle joint and you're on this leg, your crossed over leg, and you're above your kneecap on your supporting leg. I'm going to take hold of my shin above my ankle joint and I'm going to come to a tall spine. Breathe. Using my chest to move toward my crossed over leg. Breathe. Keeping the neck aligned with the spine, looking down at the floor, keeping my shoulders behind me and moving forward with my chest. Keep the spine straight. Breathe. And coming back up to tall, taking it all the way back. Release and come to a tall spine. Take a breath or two here. I'm going to take my ottoman one more time, showing modification on the other side to begin with. Okay, lean back. Cross your leg over what you've got there. And then upright. And then tall spine. Breathe. Let this leg relax. Let the crossed over leg relax before you move in to the second part of pigeon. Sometimes it takes a week or two of constant practice before you are able to move into the second part. Never force it. Never. If this is enough, then stay in this part of pigeon. All right, moving to the second part of pigeon. Moving forward with my chest, keeping my shoulders behind me. Breathe. And remember, the lower the thing you have in front of you, the easier it is to move in and out of modified pigeon. Breathe. And come back up to tall. Lean it back and release. And come to a tall spine. Take a breath or two. Breathe. And moving into pigeon one more time on this side. Leaning it back. Crossing the leg over the other one. Secure your leg. Breathe. Come to that tall spine. This might be enough. And then hinge forward from the bottom of your spine, pushing the chest toward the crossed over leg. If you're ready to go there. If you're not ready to go there, that's fine. This takes time. Flexibility takes time. Breathe. And coming back up to that tall spine, lean it back and release. And sitting up nice and tall. Breathe. Shoulders coming down as you breathe out, bringing the elbows below the shoulders. Our final posture, you can either stay here if you choose, or you can use your other chair or your kitchen stool or your storage cube, whatever you've got going on. And this is modified lotus. Try as I might, my limbs are too short to do full lotus. So I just do cross legs. Remember how we used to sit when we were kids for hours and hours and hours on end? And then one day we didn't. And then a whole year went by and we didn't. And a whole 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years went by and we didn't. So we lose that flexibility through the hips and the knees and the ankles. So coming back to that posture little by little increases the flexibility around the hips, the knees, and the ankles. So you're going to lean back and you're just going to sit cross-legged and then come to a tall spine. Breathe, breathe. Just stay here. If you choose, you can use the backs of your wrists to press down on the insides of your knees a little bit. If you choose, you don't have to. And just stay here, sitting with a tall, tall spine. Breathe, breathe. The memories come flooding back of sitting cross-legged in school, in circle, sitting playing Barbies for hours on end, just playing. We've forgotten how to play, or we've not had time for it. Breathe and release. We're going to end our yoga practice with this session with a sun salutation, but this time there's no more negativity to shake away, and we're going to hold that positive energy at our heart chakra for a minute or two. Come up either through the inside of the body or the outside of the body and reach, reach, reach up as high and as far as you can. Breathe and grasp all of that positive energy and bring it down to your heart chakra. Connect your thumbs to your chest and hold here, sitting tall, breathing, thinking positive thoughts. Breathe, allowing your body and your mind to heal and clear and learn how to just be. Breathe, breathing in all of that positive healing light and energy, allowing it to flow throughout your body from the top of your head to the bottoms of your feet, all around. Breathe. And ending our meditation class. Namaste. My energy respects your energy, but make sure that you respect your own energy as well. If you haven't hydrated during class, please make sure that you hydrate well after class. So I'm going to come back up here. So be well, take care, and remember, you didn't lose your flexibility overnight. You're not going to get it back overnight. But please celebrate the small victories in increased range of motion and less pain throughout the body. So take care, be well, and I will see you again soon.